What the hell? Hang on. I got to make some changes here. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem.
Dang. Ugh. Okay, I gotta go all the way out of here and then come back in. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem.
Hey there, everybody. This is Great Cowboys. Sorry for the technical interruption there. And this is Anthony Russo, who is one of the draft professors. Anthony, how you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here. I am replacing the great Randall for our little college football chat. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about a lot of interesting games, a lot of unbeatens falling. So some good stuff tonight.
Yeah. So of course, last night, Louisville went to 5-1, and Miami drops to 5-1. Louisville led the entire way this game. What did you make of that game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the big story was just Carson Beck. All year has kind of been this solid game manager quarterback, and they've led with their defense. And Carson Beck was very much not a solid game manager quarterback. 4 interceptions, and then also like bizarrely, I think like kind of blaming his wide receiver in the post game press conference. I don't know if you saw that, but like he basically said like, "Oh yeah, my receiver ran the wrong route," and there was like a miscommunication, which was kind of an odd thing to say. But yeah, I the wheels came off the wagon for the offense. I think the defense played fine, other than Chris Bell kind of getting the best of them. He's a hell of a football player, but yeah, just I think every team has these slip ups. I still think Miami is a top 5 team in college football, so this just feels like a hiccup, but very much still a playoff contender.
Yeah. Nebraska got pounded by Minnesota 24-6. I don't know if Matt Rule was in contract negotiations with Penn State. I have no idea, but Nebraska only put up 6 points last night. Utah State beat San Jose State 30-25, and the Bears took out Bill Belichick 21-18. I didn't watch any of the California UNC game, but did you?
I saw part of it. It's a little past my bedtime.
Yeah.
But I cannot say his name, so I'm sorry. But the Cal freshman quarterback, man, he's got the goods, man.
Yeah, we all have to learn how to pronounce his name. I don't want to attempt it either.
Nope.
But yeah,
I will. I promise I will by the 2028 NFL draft. I most certainly will. But right now,
when he's
can't, and I won't.
When he's eligible to be drafted, we'll learn how to say his name. Yes. That school up north, which is the place that I refer to it as, beat Washington 24-7. Vanderbilt beat our old head coach, Brian Kelly. Oh, shucks. I'm so upset to see Brian Kelly lose another game, 31-24. What did you make of that game?
Man, this just feels like, isn't this just always the thing with Brian Kelly, where it's like, just when you think the team like has a chance to be a national title contender, they just don't, and then they lose like a game like this where, I understand Vanderbilt's a very good team, and Diego Pavia is. I think Diego Pavia is like the best college quarterback. Like, he's not going to be a top draft prospect, obviously, but like in terms of just like playing the college game and winning college football games, I'm hard pressed to find a quarterback I'd rather want on my football team. Dude's just a baller. And honestly, like, probably should be in the Heisman conversation. I don't know what his like the betting odds are or whatever, but man, he's again like hard pressed to find somebody just a better football player than he is right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Georgia Tech 27-18 over Duke. Georgia Tech remains unbeaten. Oklahoma bounced back this week after that horrifying performance against the Longhorns last week. 26-7 against South Carolina. Houston beat Arizona 31-28, and TCU beat Baylor 42-36. Nobody who watches college games the way that Texans watch them. Nobody does. I mean, and these schools just don't like one another, period. And it doesn't matter which team is facing which one. They don't like each other. And TCU had suffered a loss last week, but boy, they came back this week and they beat Baylor. Baylor actually is going to have guys being drafted again this year, unlike last year where they had nobody drafted.
Yeah, I think both of these schools, there's some good players on both of these teams. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like you talk about both quarterbacks, Sawyer Robertson for Baylor and Josh Hoover for TCU. I think they'll both be drafted. Not necessarily sure where. Probably both day 3 guys if I had to give my thought. But you talk about like Eric McAllister at wide receiver. I think he's a really dynamic player.
He's an excellent receiver.
Yeah, really good player. TCU is a couple guys like their tight end DJ Rogers, our mutual friend Jim at Draft Professor loves him. He's a my guy for him. So yeah, both of these teams are good football teams that I don't have the Big 12 standings in front of me, but depending on how the rest of the season can go, probably are both still in contention to win the conference.
Yeah. Because the big boys of the Big 12 this year, Texas Tech just lost to Arizona State 26-22. Now, again, Texas Tech did not have their starting quarterback this week. Their freshman that Texas Tech played today, though, he was pretty darn good as well. Oh, and look at that, kids. Yes, Debo Sweeney lost another game. Oh, can we all cry? Can we all just, shed a tear? Debo Sweeney has lost again. Oh, darn. What did you make of the Clemson Tigers today?
It's funny because you kind of thought going in they didn't have Cade Klubnik, so you would think, the offense already has had its struggles, in games this season, and now they don't have Cade Klubnik. What's it going to look like? The offense was not amazing, but like good, a game caliber winning offense, and the defense just kind of defecated on itself. Like it, they did not cover well. Multiple busted coverages. There's one play. I want to go back and watch it because I don't really know what to make of it, but I just saw it in the broadcast. Like Peter Woods was like very hesitant to like go run after Kevin Jennings as he was like scrambling out of the pocket. So I didn't know if it was like he just was lost or if he like was not feeling great or whatever. I don't know what happened there, but like, yeah, Kevin Jennings just like had his way with the Clemson defense all game.
Yeah.
Made several big plays. Chris Johnson, their running back, had a couple big runs. So yeah, like, man, Tom Allen, the defensive coordinator, just got hired this offseason, might be the worst coaching hire that was made this offseason. Like, the defense is so far away from what I think a lot of people thought it would
And
be.
that's with 8 returning guys. 8.
Yeah.
And they had 8. They had 8 on the offense and 8 on defense this year. Hello,
Mhm.
you've got 16 returning players. You're Dabo Sweeney, and you're getting pounded this way. Something's definitely wrong in the land of the tagger.
Yeah, 100%.
And then, of course, we also had Ole Miss go down to Georgia, 43-35. Northwestern just pounded Purdue, and 19-0. I mean, okay, Northwestern's defense, I mean, they just pounded the daylights out of the Boilermakers, as did the number 1 team in the country, Ohio State. Mr. Fickle, how is meeting Ohio State treating you after your 15 years of being an assistant coach there? 34-0. UNLV is also no longer unbeaten. Boise State pounded them 56-31. The Indiana Hoosiers will move up to be the number 2 team in the country. They beat Michigan State 38-13. And then the Memphis Tigers also lost today. I have no explanation as to why UAB beat them 31-24. Memphis just has this one game every year, it seems like, where they just suck. And wow, it was against UAB.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many people actually watched that game, because I know there were some other, bigger games happening, but their quarterback, their starting quarterback, Brendan Lewis, got hurt, I guess, like at the early part of the second half. So
Yeah.
they were rolling with a true freshman quarterback. And then in the final minute, first they had this huge run for like 30 something yards or 40 something yards. And initially it was a touchdown, but then they reviewed it and it was actually down at the 1 yard line. So they get it to the 1 and then false start and then incomplete pass or whatever. And then like they run it, they get it back to the 1 and then they false start again. And then they get like a couple incomplete passes and then they delay a game. So they went from having the ball at the 1 yard line 2 times to then having to, on 4th and goal from the 11 with a true freshman quarterback, try to make a play. And credit to Cortez Brown, their wide receiver, because he was like inches away from making a ridiculous potential game-tying touchdown. He just wasn't quite able to get his foot down. But yeah, shout out to the Blazers. Shout out to Alex Mortensen, the son of the late broadcaster Chris Mortensen. All those guys who, they've had a rough go with Trent Dilfer at the helm, and they were not playing their best ball this entire year, really, and then finding a way to basically just get rid of Memphis from being a college football playoff team, probably. I mean, it's a really impressive win for them.
Oh, it definitely was. Let's go over some other scores today as well here. Florida beat Mississippi State 23-21. Let's see who else is. And Texas A&M is about to put the Razorbacks to bed, 38-27. I think our top 3 teams here are pretty simple at this point. It's the Ohio State Buckeyes, it's going to be the Indiana Hoosiers, and Texas A&M.
Yeah, I don't think there's any dispute. I'm sure if there is any dispute, it would be maybe the order, if you think maybe Texas A&M should be above Indiana, or if you think Indiana should be above Ohio State, I guess you could have those discussions. But yeah, for me, it's pretty much it's Ohio State 1, it's Indiana 2, it's Texas A&M 3, and then after that, it's kind of just
Georgia,
who you like that day.
Georgia Tech has to move up to the top 10 this week because of the Miami loss, the Ole Miss loss, et cetera, et cetera. So the Yellow Jackets are going to be a top 10 team. But again, who knows who's going to end up where when it comes to the ACC?
It's still. I think you would probably still say Miami's the favorite, but if there's Georgia Tech is in play. People forget because I don't even think they played a conference game today, but like Virginia is still undefeated in conference play because technically their one loss to NC State was not a conference game. It was deemed a non-conference
game. But Virginia is losing to the Cougars of Washington State 17-7. And
they will be undefeated in conference play. So but the ACC is very wide open. I wouldn't even look. I mean, like Louisville just beat Miami.
Yeah.
And they have a good team. I mentioned Chris Bell, like he's very much in the conversation for being a first round pick in April. So don't sleep on Louisville either.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's this year is going to be a wild finish as far as the playoffs teams go.
Yeah. I don't think there's again, like we just established, like there's a top 3 right now, but Miami's a team that can win any game. I still think Georgia's just got to fix their defense, but like their offense, they always seem to just find a way to like win games and their offense.
And I still say Hugh Freeze was dead right to be so angry last week. That was a touchdown. I don't care what the replays, that replay official should be shot and peed on for letting the Georgia Bulldogs get the fumble recovery instead of a clear touchdown. And if that game goes 17-0 at the half, that's a different ending. That's a much different ending. And again, the Bulldogs defense this year just does not scare anyone like they have in the past. I mean,
it's awful.
It's horrible. They are awful is right.
Yeah, I don't. It's so bizarre because I feel like basically since Kirby Smart has been head coach, which I forget now. I mean, that's what, like 10 years about at this point. Like they've always had like a defensive line that can dominate football games. And now, like Christian Miller is still he's a good defensive tackle, but there is zero pass rush. Like there is nobody that I'm like, oh yeah, that guy is gonna, at least get a sack or a pressure like every single game. Like they just don't have that player. And you go look at Missouri, who has Damon Wilson, who just transferred from Georgia, and he's got like 5 sacks this year, whatever it is now. So like they have these guys, and then they leave Georgia and they become these great, they look great, they play great. So I don't know what the deal is in Georgia. There's something, I don't know if Glenn Schumann, the defensive coordinator, just like Adam, he's phoning it in. Maybe he's trying to.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I saw Kirby this morning, and he was, proclaiming that, we only got 115 guys now, so it's tough to have scout teams. But I really love coaching the scout team. Okay, that's lovely. 115 players. You should be able to have 2 scout teams, and he did. So these guys who whine about the number of players that they get, it boggles my mind.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and like again, like he's been there for what, a decade now.
Yeah.
He's won national championships. He's just basically was, we were praising him for like finally being the guy to dethrone Nick Saban in the SEC, and now he's just I don't know what's going on. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that the best player on Georgia is going to be Gunnar Stockton, I would have laughed at you, and I would have told you you're dumb and you don't know football. Here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Gunnar Stockton saved the day again today. I mean, he played very well. That's, and these things happen. We've seen it before with other quarterbacks as well who have been, waylaid by especially the draft media crowd. And, this guy is better than what we thought. That happens every year. So let's take a quick commercial break here.
In 2006, we founded Yeti Coolers with a simple mission: build the cooler we use every day if it existed. One that was built for the serious outdoor enthusiasts rather than for mass discount retailers. One that could take the abuse we knew we'd put it through, out in the field and on the water. One that simply wouldn't break. We decided early on that production innovation would come from necessity and first-hand experience, not from market research and data analysis. Today, Yeti products perform when it matters most. Whether that be an excursion into the remote Alaskan wilderness, chasing redfish on the Gulf Coast, or just getting together with friends in the backyard, we make gear that helps you stay out longer, travel farther, and live harder. # built for the wild.
Enjoy 40% off site-wide. Vitable takes the guesswork out of feeling good. Get your own personalized daily vitamin packs safely delivered to your doorstep every month. Take their online quiz to find out which vitamins and minerals can support your personal needs based on your own diet and lifestyle. # only what you need, nothing that you don't. All vitamins are manufactured in Australia at the highest quality standard. Ingredients come in the best form for their absorption by your body. Enjoy 40% off site-wide using code NBS40 at checkout.
All right, here. Now I'm back with Anthony. Let's go to the professional football team that you follow here. I call them just to end the season. Oh yeah, the New Jersey Jets. Yeah. Who do you have them picking as the number one pick as of right now?
I mean, I think it kind of has to be Mendoza. I mean, I guess if you want to say Dante Moore. And I know there's the Ty Simpson crowd is out there. But I think Fernando Mendoza is just, I think at this point, if they're picking number one, which seems just all too likely, it has to be a quarterback like Justin Fields is very clearly not going to work as a 2-year bridge option. And this entire team,
Who's your backup quarterback behind Justin?
Tyrod Taylor.
Okay, so Tyrod Taylor starts next season as the Jets quarterback because I don't care. You do not throw any kid from an NFL draft onto that field immediately unless you have a good offensive line, and unless you can protect this kid, I don't want him out there week one.
I will say, in the very, very, very slight defense of the Jets, I do think the offensive line is good. It hasn't played great in the past couple weeks, but you have 2 tackles in Olufashinu and Armand Membu that you feel good about for the future. I think Tippmann is usually a good interior player, but again, he hasn't played great. So I still have some hope in the offensive line. It's really pretty much everywhere else that I'm not happy with right now. But I wouldn't be I wouldn't be as worried about throwing in a number 1 pick as an immediate starter as I normally am. Now,
Yeah.
I would be worried because it's the Jets and we always find a way to screw it up. But I actually don't. I think given the situations that the average number 1 overall pick winds up in, the Jets on paper may not actually be like the worst possible outcome.
No. I mean, but again, I just don't want him out there week 1. I'm sorry. I just don't.
Sure.
You know, it drives me off the deep end. I mean, Jaden Daniels was a different story. But most of the time, look at Caleb Williams. I said, apparently you guys have a quarterback in Chicago. What did he end up getting sacked 68 times last year? Yeah. Yeah, that was real good for his development, you know. Again, when you go that early, unless your club has a lot of money that they can spend on getting guys in front of them, I don't want them out there week 1. I just don't.
Well, and I mean, you could just look at this year. Look at what Cam Ward's doing and also not doing in Tennessee right now.
Yeah.
And it's not even. I think there's other. I think Brian Callahan was not a good head coach. I think their receiving options are horrendous. So I think he was. I think there was really no way that Cam Ward was going to succeed given the state of what the Titans are right now. But you've seen now where he is in this bad situation, and now you're starting to see the bad habits that were on his scouting report that we were kind of willing to overlook a little, because I do think he is a very talented, and I still think he's a very talented player, but he's holding the ball too long. He's taking bad sacks. He's making some bad decisions. There's some bad things that are starting to creep up. And that's kind of why I think they needed to move on from Callahan and just okay, we're gonna fresh start this.
Yeah.
Because it does look like there's some bigger problems that could creep up.
No, I agree. I mean, but I always get upset with people who always focus in on a quarterback, because there's 11 men on that field.
Mm-hmm.
And if those 5 guys in front of a quarterback aren't doing their job, I don't care how good of a quarterback you are, you're going to get damaged. And if you don't have decent receivers or good running backs or a tight end, you're in trouble. I said to Joe Cardozo yesterday on the Blue and Silver Breakdown show that I do, because the Commanders are playing the Cowboys this week. Most quarterbacks end up around that 67% passing completion rate. Around there.
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 67% of the completions that they make, I'm betting maybe 20 to 30% of those are perfect passes. Maybe. So why don't wide receivers get the credit for the catches that they make far more often, or even the tight end, and people don't ever talk about anything other than the quarterback. It drives me off the deep end.
Yeah. I think to that point, that's kind of why I always I always lean back a little whenever I hear the positional value arguments that people love to make when we talk about the draft. Every position on a football field has inherent value to it. Now, obviously, the quarterback is the most important position probably in all professional sports. But yeah, I don't care. Drake May, for example, having a hell of a year, looks great. It's going to be probably a great quarterback for years to come. If he was playing behind the offensive line last year and, the wide receivers on that team didn't get any better, they'd still be they'd still be bad. They'd still be a lot. They'd be just as bad as they were last year.
But the Patriots had money to spend this year, and they spent it wisely.
Yeah.
That's how they've gotten to the point where they are now the first place team in the AFC East. I got told by Randall that he wasn't going to be here anymore because I picked the Falcons to beat the Bills. I'm sorry. Hello, Bijan Robinson. Hello. I'm sorry. I mean, that man is just such a talented guy that, he just destroyed the Bills defense, which again, but they had injuries. They've got injuries.
Oh yeah.
And that comes into play.
Yeah. Eventually, like, injuries will always find a way to catch up. That's why, I can't believe the 49ers are still like playing anything close to good football right now, because they have just been some of the most unfortunate luck I've ever seen for a football team. But I as someone who's also, I was very much a Michael Penix truther during the draft and still am. So watching him beat the Bills was a pretty great night for me too.
And when everybody was whining and crying about the Falcons taking Penix when they did at number 8 that year, wait a second. The general manager and the coach wanted this guy that cost them a whole lot of money. The owner spoke out and said, we're drafting Michael Penix. That's the bottom line of this, because I need a much cheaper option as the backup. What if this guy who had an Achilles tear doesn't play well? Oh, darn. And that didn't, and if that didn't happen. See, this is sometimes an owner actually makes a smart move, and Mr. Blank did,
Yeah.
And everybody was whining and crying about it. I said, no, this is a great move for them. And there they are. Notre Dame has the lead on SC now. The Fight On boys are now down 14-10. And Notre Dame's defense is playing a much, much better brand of football than they did the first 2 games. Chris Ash, I was very disappointed in weeks 1 and 2. Mr. Denbrock, I was very disappointed with him against the Miami Hurricanes when he threw 9 straight passes for No, you do not throw the football 9 straight times. You just don't do this, But hey, they are where they are. USC, of course, now just goes down the field, gets a nice first down here as well.
They've been using this. Well, that was Mekhi Lemon, but I was gonna say they've been targeting, like, they've been spreading the ball around. They were using Lake McCree earlier. They were getting that true freshman involved. I think he's 16. He also kind of looks like Mekhi Lemon. That was what threw me off for a second. But like now, like that was, they just showed like that was Mekhi Lemon's second catch of the game so far. So like he hasn't really gashed them too much.
No.
See, like they just did this deep shot. Ooh, yeah. See, that was.
And
they're throwing it to anyone. They're spreading the ball around. They're testing this Notre Dame secondary for sure.
Well, they're not going after Leonard Moore, however. They're going after Christian Gray.
No, yeah, they're going after everybody else.
Yeah,
which is smart.
I've been telling everybody, next NFL draft season, Leonard Moore will be the number 1 cornerback going out of this draft. Bottom line, I don't care. I don't care about any other cornerback. You don't go after Leonard Moore. You just don't.
No, I remember. I haven't done like an eval on him because he's not eligible.
Yeah.
But I've watched him when I watched Christian Gray over the summer. You catch glimpses and I see him making plays, and I'm just like, oh, he's gonna be. You could just tell. Like, he's gonna be good. Like there's
he's going to be. And again, there was another safety that I said last year was going to be the best safety coming into the NFL. Xavier Watts, and guess who drafted him again? The Falcons did. And Xavier Watts is playing fantastic safety for the Falcons right now.
Love Xavier Watts too. He was so underdrafted.
Yep. So you spoke about positional value earlier, because Mr. Bain, of course, is most everybody's top defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
But Caleb Downs, who's a safety, I think is probably a little ahead of Bain in terms of overall defensive ability. Would you draft Caleb Downs before Peter Bain?
So so you're asking the wrong guy this question because I had Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain was my number one player in summer scouting. So he's only confirmed. Now, Caleb Downs was my number two player. So I still think they're the top two. I got a lot of things wrong in summer scouting. I got my top two I feel pretty good about my top two. It hasn't changed. I would not fault a team if they took Caleb Downs in the top 5. Like, yeah. I think he is that good. I wouldn't, and obviously it depends on what a team needs and personnel and all that, but I would still, I think Ruben Bain is like a top 3 draft pick, pretty much locked in.
Caleb Downs is being coached by a former NFL defensive guru in Matt Patricia, and his level of play has gotten better than it was last year. That's a scary thing. That is a very scary concept. So if he goes in the top 5, I'm not going to be anywhere near bitching and moaning if Caleb Downs is a top 5 player in this draft. Period.
Now, if anything, I think he might not be, just because, we're probably going to see multiple quarterbacks go in the top 5. Ruben Bain probably goes top 5. I think one of, potentially the receiver we're watching right now, or Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, or Carnell Tate from Ohio State, like any one of them, I think could be potential top 5 picks. They're all very talented. So that might be why Caleb Downs gets knocked down, but no, just in terms of pure.
Well, I know he's going to get knocked down, because safeties just don't get picked that high. That's the bottom line of this. But if a team does take him early, I am not going to be moaning about them. And just as like, I don't care. Tieneman, the other safety that I loved, who's playing for Oregon now, if he goes in the first round, I'm not going to whine and cry about that either. Period. Nope. Because these two guys are just so solid.
I completely agree.
They just play the game properly. Oh, and by the way, safety is the most important position in the game. It's also played by the smartest men in the game. Ask Bill Carroll and myself. We'll tell you.
Yeah. Caleb Downs is, when you're a true freshman and Nick Saban is willing to put you on the field and make you let you play and be a contributor on defense.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really need?
And then you go to Ohio State afterwards. It's like, huh?
Yeah. You play for Jim Knowles, then you play for Matt Patricia. Yeah. I mean, he's just like, I always, normally I hate when people say like, oh, this is the cleanest prospect, can't miss prospects, like all that. But like, if that does exist, this is probably it. Like in terms of safeties, at least.
In terms of safeties, Downs and Tieneman are just two pure safeties. They both play the game very, very well. It's like last year when I put Charles Cross in on the Draft Central show that we do. I put Cross in as one of my top tackles. That's it. I love the way that man played. I didn't care what school he went to, William and Mary. I didn't care. I don't judge you by the helmet, right? Mm-hmm. I judged what I saw that man do, and that man was playing an incredible left tackle.
That's how I am now. I'm a big Bryce Lance fan from North Dakota State.
Yeah,
and all I hear from everybody is the competition and he's not playing anyone. He's playing future plumbers, and I'm just like,
these guys who have no respect for an FCF school drive me off the deep end. They really do. And every year Bill Carroll and I will be on Draft Central, and we will scream that these kids from an HBCU school need to be drafted. They don't need to be undrafted picks. They need to be drafted. But again, we have this mindset that, well, no, this guy here, he played for Alabama and he was on their field 4 times. We're going to draft him. That's it. Huh? You know, the rose-colored lenses that NFL scouts use and general managers, it boggles the mind, right? So
yeah, well, and that's why too, like, you know, obviously tape is king. It always is, but like the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl and the Hula Bowl and you know, all the All-Star circuit stuff that we do for, you know, for the draft season, like that's why it matters. Like, look at Gray Zabel.
yeah,
Like, Gray Zabel is not a first-round pick before the Senior Bowl. Then
he was in my opinion, and he probably was in your opinion as well.
He was. I think I had him like early second. But before the Senior Bowl, to the general public. And the mainstream draft media,
no,
he's not going first round.
Yeah.
And then Senior Bowl happens. He is probably the most impressive player, at least one of the most impressive players that was there. And he goes 18, I think it was, to Seattle. And he's now like one of, if not the best rookie linemen in the NFL right now. And he played at an FCS school. So like,
yeah, it just doesn't make any sense the way that these teams go about this. It really doesn't. You know.
Yeah. I also think teams overthink it like a lot.
Oh yeah, way too much. And again, when coaches that are NFL coaches get involved in trying to evaluate these college kids, I don't like that. I don't like it whatsoever. Dan Quinn was a great defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, but boy, did he ever suck at picking guys. I mean, sucked. So
yeah, I feel like I've never been a football coach and I've never been a football, executive front office person, but it just doesn't feel like those wires cross. Like ever, like understanding the X's and O's and how to develop players, it just doesn't match with evaluating. I don't really know why that is, but I don't remember examples of coaches that became that controlled front office decisions and drafting. Like obviously Bill Belichick is like the easy example. Once he took over drafting, it was horrible.
Pete Carroll was also very good at picking guys out. Jimmy Johnson was very good at picking guys up. There are some.
I will say though, both of them great college coaches.
Yeah,
like they understood the college game.
Yep,
more so than I think a Belichick or like a Bill O'Brien when he was in Houston. Like, I think that probably helps. So yeah, you're right. Like there are examples, but I just overall. Yeah, I don't think coaches are the ones that should be evaluating and
so this USC defense is about to get scored upon again here.
Yeah, I'm watching Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price.
And Jadarian Price. Jadarian's only touched the ball 4 times for 57 yards and a TD. He's got 14.25 per carry. Jeremiah Love, 9 carries, 134 yards, 14.88 per carry. Both with the touchdown. And USC's defense is just getting pounded by the Fighting Irish at this point.
Did they just get a flag for that?
I believe they're going to get nailed for this because there goes
and there's an injury. This is a mess. But yeah, no, this USC defense has been getting run over. This is very much like the was it Illinois when they gave up like 42 points or whatever it was, and Caden Fagan was just like running all over them. It feels like that again.
Yeah. Which means Mr. Supercharged and Mr. My Brother in Anger, George Lopez, your Fight On boys are losing to the Fighting Irish again. Again. Next year is supposed to be the last time they play each other because they haven't come to an agreement as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
If USC insists on having a September game against the Fighting Irish every year, they are wrong. That AD at USC needs to be shot for this idea of only playing the Fighting Irish in September. It is ridiculous. You come out to Notre Dame every October. We travel out there every Thanksgiving weekend. What's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I personally would love to see the Fight On boys have to come down to Notre Dame in November. But of course, hey, what's the weather like tonight? It's perfectly fine. So this nonsense that the USC AD is coming out with is absolute garbage as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, and two, especially in this age where, I mean, does he know what conference USC is in these days? I mean, who they have to play in November and December?
Yeah,
usually, like it's not like Notre Dame's the only cold weather, windy, potentially snowy game that they've have to deal with.
Welcome to Happy Valley or Rutgers or one of these places in December.
Columbus, Ohio. You're really you're worried about Notre Dame being problematic in November or October or whatever.
It's absolute insanity as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see what turns out with this injury and that penalty call. Let's just see here. Alabama was up 7-0. Let's just see where they're at now.
Yeah, I was flipping around.
That's 7-7.
All right. Let me check. I know box scores don't always tell the whole story, but I am curious how Ty Simpson is doing so far.
Yeah.
Let's see.
He's 8 of 12, 95 yards, 1 TD.
All right. That's good. That's a solid showing so far. They're both looking good, actually. But Aguilar's good too. All right. Keep an eye on that. Oregon is getting their groove back against Rutgers.
Oh yeah, they're smoking Rutgers 42-3.
Rough day to be a Scarlet Knights fan.
Utah and BYU, there's no score at the end of the first quarter. Geez, are we shocked by that? Not.
That game's going to end 13-10, and it's going to be
it could be 9-7 at the end of this. We don't know how many points are going to actually get scored in that game because both defenses are both very good. They are both excellent defenses.
Yep.
CJ Carr has got all kinds of time, and he got picked off. That was a very bad decision, CJ.
Yeah, that was
very.
He's looked really good.
Yeah,
for a majority of the season. That was not.
That was not good. That was not good.
Because I'll be honest, if Notre Dame scores there, if Notre Dame had scored a touchdown there, it feels like they're starting to put that away.
Yeah,
and now you just gave Lincoln Riley a chance to.
You see that kid on the sideline right now. He knows it. He knows he made a mistake there. I mean, it really does my heart good to know that the former head coach of that school up north, his grandchild came to Notre Dame instead of that school up north, who didn't even recruit the kid. They didn't recruit him. Yeah. It's unbelievable. But hey,
Yeah, well, they've got their. Well, that's another penalty. Yeah, but I listen. I'm a big Bryce Underwood fan. I think he's a really good player. But so is CJ Carr. There's a lot of good freshman quarterbacks. I don't really know why that's the case now. I feel like it's
well,
much more prominent than years past.
CJ's a sophomore though, so
Oh, I thought he was a redshirt freshman. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way, there's a lot of good underclassmen
Oh yeah.
quarterbacks.
Oh yeah.
Um,
There are some very good wide receivers and other positions out there who are not going to be in this draft, but next year, oh lordy, is there ever going to be a boatload of them? As long as if they come out early, which is what I'm liking about the NIL deal, is that these kids are staying in school. I prefer that. I much prefer that.
Yeah, especially for the quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Like, don't rush it. Like,
no, you don't have to. You don't have to come out.
because the NFL's made it abundantly obvious that they are not going to develop you as they should. So you better be developed by the time you get there, and then you can, work on your game, whatever. But like, it is not. They're not doing what they need to be doing.
No.
That's another.
And USC's moving the football again.
Yeah, neither one of these defenses are particularly impressing me.
Well, USC has to throw the football though because they have not been able to run at all.
Now they've had like a couple moments, but yeah, overall they're not getting much push up front. But when they can do that, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the bottom line of that all.
Christian Gray is really not having a great go right now.
Yeah, he's definitely the other guy who's getting the ball thrown at him constantly. It's constant.
Yeah. Which again makes sense, but
because
you would have hoped.
Yeah, you try running that football, boys, because you're not going anywhere. This is another occasion. I mean, that's just silliness.
The USC's offensive line is just so not good, which is just so weird too, because
that
like Lincoln Riley knows, like he's I mean, obviously, like he's great offensive mind and like whatever. So like he understands how important running the football is for his offense. So you would think like he'd prioritize run blocking in like recruiting and coaching, and it just doesn't. They just can't get any sort of push up front.
No. Well, Christian Gray won that battle, but don't tell me.
Maybe they get him a hold, but no, I guess not.
No, they're calling pass interference.
Oh, they did. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say it looked like he grabbed him and pulled him down a bit.
Yeah, it was the USC guy who was pulling him down. That was normal hand fighting.
They both held each other, which I guess kind of like would offset.
That should have been they should have both been called. Exactly right. That's insanity.
Marcus Freeman thrilled by that decision.
Oh yeah. And all those clowns this week who said Marcus Freeman was going to Penn State. No, okay. He's the Notre Dame head coach. There's only one other school that man would go to, and that job is already taken by Ryan Day. That's it. Because he, of course, he was a former Buckeye. So there's no way that he's going to go to Penn State.
I don't know. I don't know if it's people that are overvaluing the Penn State job in general, or if it's just people like not understanding what the things would be that would attract a coaching candidate. But like why would Marcus Freeman why would Marcus Freeman voluntarily leave
Leave
a
Notre
school
Dame, where he next year he has the number 2 recruiting class in the country. The number 2.
Right. Like he doesn't gain anything in terms of like, team financials, like doesn't gain anything financially. He doesn't gain anything. Like Notre Dame is just as prestigious.
They have their own network, NBC.
Right.
That's
Right.
it. They are the only school to have their own network. That's it.
And then if you just look at it in terms of like, the on the football field, like getting to the playoffs as Notre Dame is probably quite a bit easier than getting to the playoffs as
Penn
Penn
State.
State, having to fight through Ohio State and Oregon and now Indiana, and like Michigan's always a pest, and like the Big Ten, like Illinois is good when they're healthy. Like
Iowa's no joke.
Iowa's one of those teams. Yep. So like, why would you voluntarily sign up for that and it decrease your likelihood of making the playoffs? Not gain anything in terms of like being able to recruit any better players than you already do. And I guess Penn State would maybe, if they threw like some ridiculous contract offer at him,
yeah,
I guess, but like they're not going to do that. So they're not going to offer him anything that Notre Dame wouldn't want to match. So it's like, what? There's no reason. There's no reason Marcus Freeman would ever want to go to Penn State.
That's something I agree with completely here. BYU has the lead 7-0 on Utah right now. So who was your star of the day?
Star of the day. Good question. Let me. I will. The first name that I saw here that I would say, like Gunnar Stockton played his ass off. Who else here? Who had a great game? Well, I will say Darian Mensah, the Duke quarterback, played very well. I know he lost. He played well. But also just like Haynes King, another one of these guys that just he's not going to get drafted high, but like he wins football games. He just wins college football games better than just about any quarterback in college football, except maybe Diego Pavia. So who could also be star of the day. But I'll give it to Gunnar Stockton because like Georgia doesn't win football games if he doesn't ball out. And he just keeps balling out.
Well, the Michigan State-Indiana game might have been a 38-13 score, but Aiden Childs was 27 of 33, so that's 82%. He had one touchdown, 243 yards. Mr. Mendoza, however, 24 of 28, 86%, 332 yards, 4 TDs. Mr. Mendoza is my star of the week yet again.
That's a very, very fair pick.
I was shocked to see how many receptions Aiden Childs had today, but that was holy mackerel. But Mr. Mendoza, he just is playing on a level that no other quarterback is playing on right now. There's nobody even close. Nobody.
Now and he's done it, because my thing with him at kind of over the summer and then at the start of the year was like, all right, he hasn't really, he was whooping Indiana State and he was beating up on these smaller non-conference opponents, and I'm just like, all right, cool, but like how's he going to fare against Penn State and Oregon and those kinds of teams?
Yeah.
And he just keeps and Michigan State's not in that league either.
No,
but
they're
like
not in that league, but
but he just keeps going. There's
Yep.
no slowing down. So
Yep.
yeah, I think he's pretty clear QB1 right now.
And I think the Fighting Irish just picked off that ball. Yes, they did. Even if they review it, I think he caught that.
Wow. That was a crazy catch.
There it is. It comes off. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, okay. No, it's definitely.
That's hard to say. That's going to be reviewed. We got a review.
Yeah, I mean that hit the ground, right?
I think it did.
Because I guess at first they thought it might have like rolled off his arm or something, but I feel like it bounced.
Yeah, it did. I think it bounced. Yeah, I think that's just going to be an incompletion.
Yeah, it's touching the yeah. I was gonna say that would have been a nutty interception.
Well, no, it would have been a fumble recovery.
Oh well, yeah, if he caught it, sure,
Dame, right? Yeah.
I thought at first like it like bounced off his arm or something, and he got there and caught it, but yeah, no, that either way.
Yeah, no, that'll be an incompletion.
Yeah, they'll get bailed out here.
Yeah.
Also, just in general, you got to catch that ball. Like, I know you're diving and like falling to the ground, but like
generally speaking, but
you gotta, yeah.
Please don't have what happened with Auburn last week. No, don't do that. Yeah, incomplete pass. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
I really was so upset last week when Auburn had that touchdown. That was a pure TD. He was over the line. It is 6 points. That's it. Done.
Yeah.
And again, they had a problem against Oklahoma too as well. And the replay officials ended up messing up Auburn yet again. That's replay is supposed to be there to get things correct.
I watched what game was it? Oh, it was Georgia Tech Duke. Yeah. I love the thing that they're doing with the replays where they let you listen in on the refs and the replay booth people, whatever they are. Yep. And like they're talking like as they're like, okay, so the runner was down here and blah blah blah, and this is why we're gonna call it an incomplete pass or whatever, yada yada. Like every game should do that. Because like I always, that's why when people get pissed off at like, why on earth was this call made or this call overturned or whatever, let me hear it. Let me hear the refs. Let me hear what their thought process is. Why are we only doing it for like one random ACC game every week? Like it's such a cool concept that like actually like benefits the viewer.
Oh, absolutely.
But it only happens in one game. No, do it for all of them. I'll sit here and watch the refs like tell me why they're making this ridiculous decision. Yep.
And again, CJ Carr is only 6 of 10 tonight. Notre Dame is just using the ground game to beat the Trojans here. It's 14-13. Notre Dame gets the football back with a minute and a half left, but I don't see them doing a whole lot. But we'll see what happens. We'll certainly see what happens. So Anthony, it's been a pleasure having you on. Come back when Randall is with us, and we'll do another show and all that good sort of stuff.
This is great. I enjoyed this, and as we get closer to the end of the season and the Jets cement their rightful place as first overall pick makers. We'll talk about who they're gonna try to fix the franchise even more. So,
well,
this
hey,
is a
there
good
you
time.
go, right? I mean, I knew when you said yes that okay, I got to bug you a little bit about being the Jets fan and all that fun sort of stuff. But again, you gave the proper pick. I think that they're going to make. It'll be Mendoza at this point, unless of course that young man gets injured. Please do not happen. But
No, we don't want that.
again, if they start him week 1, that organization should be eliminated. Period. You're way too young. I remember Joe Montana. I remember Mr. Mr. Namath. Sorry, Joe Namath. And Monty, of course, on the Full Monty Sports Show, who gets very upset with me whenever I mention Joe Namath because he was too young to recall that. And it's just like, oh, that's too bad. But that's the only guy who's ever done anything. I mean, he guaranteed he was going to win that game. He did it. Ever since that team has had a nightmare at quarterback ever since. An absolute nightmare.
Yeah, besides Joe Namath, the Jets quarterback with the most playoff success is now in a jail and potentially a felon. So we can't even really talk about him anymore.
No,
so we kind of need somebody to take
what
the man.
What school did that guy go to? Oh yeah, he was a fight on guy. Yeah. But again, it was a pleasure having you on, Anthony. Everybody else, come back next Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be back with Randall, I believe, and y'all take care.